Hello, I'm Hotspur, Youth Librarian with the Fayetteville Public Library. I'd like to thank you for joining us for Take Better Pictures, part of our Teens Create series for our 2020 summer reading program, Imagine Your Story. Be sure to check us out on the web at faylib.org/src for more information about the summer reading program. Also check us out at faylib.org/calendar for a complete listing of this summer's events. In today's video, I'll be showing you some universal tips and tricks for how to take better photographs, whether you're using a DSLR or even just a smartphone camera. So let's begin. The first key to taking better pictures is composition, or how you arrange the elements of your photograph. There's a fundamental principle in art called the golden mean, or the golden ratio, which is based on an actual mathematical ratio found in nature. This ratio can be most easily observed in the shape of a nautilus shell, but it can also be seen throughout the natural world. This ratio has proven to be an invaluable compositional tool for artists over the years, as it results in the most aesthetically pleasing compositions to the human eye. Seeing as how I don't like complex math, we're going to keep this simple and call it the rule of thirds. When you're composing a photograph, try to envision a tic-tac-toe grid that's divided your screen into thirds. The red dots represent the intersection of these grid lines, and these are going to be the focal points of the subject for your photograph. By placing your subject at one of these 4 points, you're going to be duplicating the focal point of the golden ratio. Most digital cameras will give you the option of using grid lines in your compositions, and I strongly suggest doing that, at least until you get the hang of the rule of thirds. Basically, just try to remember to keep your subjects at least slightly off-center, unless you're taking a close-up portrait of somebody. Similarly, if you're taking a landscape shot, try to make sure that your horizon line is not right in the middle of the picture. Try to keep that horizon line running along the top third or the bottom third of your picture, and make that judgment call based on what you find more visually appealing in your composition. What's at the top of the picture or what's at the bottom of the picture. Another tip is to use leading lines. These are lines in your composition that lead the viewer's eyes across your photograph and add depth and dynamism to your picture. They're a great tool for adding perspective to what might otherwise be a static shot. Speaking of perspective, don't be afraid to change your perspective or point of view when taking pictures. If you're always shooting from the same position, you're missing out on a lot of shots. Standard picture taking height is boring. Try getting lower to the ground for a new perspective, or getting higher up for an aerial view. And try using a different aspect ratio, which is a fancy term for the frame shape of your picture. Most cameras default to a 4:3 ratio, basically a rectangle, but Instagram has repopularized the 1:1 ratio or square format. You'd be surprised at how differently you'll start seeing things when you're shooting in a new aspect ratio. Using a square format is great for isolating your subject by filling the frame, which is a technique for getting rid of negative space in your images and drawing more attention to your subject by simply getting close enough to make your subject take up most of the photo. And if you find yourself having to zoom in on your subject, try zooming with your feet instead of your lens. Just get closer. The image quality will be better and you'll end up with an altogether nicer photograph. This is a good time to remind you to always pay attention to your backgrounds. Don't be so preoccupied with your subject that you let a busy or ugly background ruin your photo. My last compositional tip is related to lighting. Midday sun is harsh and can ruin many a photograph. The best lighting is during what's called the golden hour, which is the time right before and after sunrise and sunset. This is when sunlight is at its most diffused and even, and you would be amazed at the results you can get. The second key to taking better pictures is your subject. A common roadblock for beginning photographers is related to subject matter. Many beginners simply don't know what they should start taking pictures of, and I'm here to tell you, take pictures of anything and everything until you find something that speaks to you. Look for patterns, colors, shapes, textures, contrast. These are all inherently interesting visual qualities and a good place to start when you're looking for things to photograph. Shooting in black and white is actually a great way to teach yourself to recognize patterns, textures, and contrast, as the absence of color allows you to focus strictly on those qualities. Once you've taken enough pictures, you're likely to see a recurring subject or theme in your work. Focus on that theme and explore it fully. This is a great way to hone your craft, and eventually you'll have a portfolio that you could potentially turn into a photo book of your own. The third and final key to taking better pictures is doing your homework. If you're truly interested in pursuing photography, I'd recommend taking a photography class. If you're unable to take one in person, we actually offer several free photography courses online here at the Fayetteville Public Library through databases like lynda.com or Gale Courses. But honestly, the absolute best thing you can do to improve your photography skills is to study photographs from other people. While textbooks are great for learning details about the process, nothing will benefit you more than simply studying the photo books of other photographers. And while photography art books are expensive, there is a solution. We have a wonderful collection of photography books available to you here at the Fayetteville Public Library, so I hope you'll come visit us in person and check some of them out. Don't forget to also visit us on the web at faylib.org and check us out on social media at Instagram and Facebook for fresh content uploaded daily. Thanks for watching.